Good morning. Looks like we had a little bit of rain last night, and I am on my way to pick up my brother so we can go get a little surfing done. The only issue is I think it might rain some more. But I wanted to make this quick video, and it's so hard to find time to do it. So rather than making time, I thought I'd use much of my commute time to do the talking portion of it. So turns, all right. What I want to do with this video is kind of simplify turns to improve your surfing, and I think in talking this through, it actually will help improve my surfing as well. Turns can be broken down into two things, or two types of turns. You know, when you look at off the lips, cutbacks, bottom turns, off the tops, you know, it seems like there's a lot of variations, but if you break it down, there's actually only two. And that is, you have a heel side turn and a toe side turn. This video here is going to focus primarily on heel side turn. And the reason why is because I think naturally everyone figures out how to do a toe side turn. All right, so the number one thing, and in fact, I want you to do this as a form of exercise. And mind you, this video is geared towards beginners and intermediates. And intermediates kind of wanting to, I guess, put a technique to the things that they're already kind of developing. And this will help you maintain proper technique and not form bad habits like myself. Over the years, and I've been surfing 35 years, I've formed lots of bad habits. And so the last 15 years of surfing has literally been me trying to break those habits and fix them. And unfortunately, muscle memory, it's a hard thing to do. You know, the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I am going to try to make sure that that's not a true statement. I will try to fix myself and improve my surfing. That has primarily always been my goal, is to always just get better. All right, so as an exercise, I want you to stand up right now and get in your surf stance, okay? And then what I want you to do is bend your back leg. So if you're goofy, that would be your left leg, and if you're regular footed, that would be your right leg. Bend your back leg just a notch. You know, maybe squat down somewhere between 6 and 12 inches, okay? And straighten out your front leg. What do you feel? If you're doing exactly what I'm telling you, you're gonna feel all the pressure and all the weight on your back leg. And that is super important when it comes to turns, because you're always gonna pivot off the tail. With the weight now on your back, one of the things I want to tell beginners, okay, and some intermediates out there, something that is opposite of what you've probably been told from the very start, which is they tell you to bend your knees, and that is true. But they also tell you to absorb shock, and that is not true. Now, in the beginning, it's important because it's more about balance. But once you get your sea legs and you have the balance, you do not want to absorb shock, okay? Meaning, don't sit there and bend your knees and try to absorb the bumps on a wave. That actually is probably the worst thing you can do, because what ends up happening is you start absorbing all your speed, okay? So when you get out there, yes, bend your legs, get in your surf stance, but keep your legs stiff. And the stiffer your legs, the better. Going back to the turns, okay? Earlier when I told you to do the exercise of standing up and bending your back leg and keeping your front leg straight, that is the fundamental technique of all heel side turns, okay? 99.99% of all surfers use this same technique. It's just not obvious, okay? When you look at professional surfers, it's probably more like 90% of professional surfers do it. And the reason why is because there's 10% that don't do this. Is because their legs are so freaking strong that they don't need to straighten out their front leg. They can have both legs bent. They just literally fight the resistance. Now me, I have really twiggy, skinny legs, and they're not very strong, especially after having broken them twice. They just don't develop muscle the way they used to when I was younger. So they just aren't very strong. and my knees are getting pretty jacked up. So what you have to do, and we'll go through a lot of videos showing you exactly what I mean by this, is as you start your turn, you're going to put weight on the back. And I know a lot of people say that, but what does that mean? It just means bend your back leg, straighten out your front leg. The act of straightening out your front leg, okay, literally pushes all your weight to the back. It just automatically happens, okay? Now the one thing is the sensation on dry land is going to be different than the sensation you feel in the water, okay? On dry land, when you bend your back leg, you feel the weight, okay? You feel your entire body weight against that back leg. In water, it's a little bit different. In water, when you bend your back leg, the board acts like a seesaw, right? So when you push, what happens? The front comes up, and that applies pressure to your front leg. So in the water, the sensation is going to feel like you still have pressure on your front foot, and that's fine. You just want to keep your front foot as stiff as you can, and that'll apply all the pressure to the back. And then you keep your back leg bent but stiff, and that'll help you generate the resistance on your fins to finish out your turn, okay? Get in your surf position. I'm goofy, so I'm going to point this way. Back leg. Both knees bent. If you apply pressure, if you bend your back leg, straighten out your front leg, you'll feel that all your weight now is over your back foot. And you can feel that pressure, okay? So as you approach your turn, you want to be in your surf stance. And as you start your turn, make sure you practice this on dry land or even on a skateboard or something. You have your arms in a position that you think is stylish and, you know, comfortable. But arms are important because they also are part of the direction and your torso and the torque you're going to create on a board. So as you're pointing, I like to take my back shoulder and bring it over my front knee. And this distance here, the closer that is, the more stable you're going to feel on that turn. I have weak legs, so a lot of times I don't really like the burn that I get, so I don't go as deep, but you should. Get your chest as close, your front shoulder over the knee, but as you start your turn, get your back shoulder, get it over that knee. And then, as your board starts to turn, straighten out that front leg. This makes sure all that pressure now and weight is on your back leg. And what you're doing is you're using your eyes and you're looking to where you want to go, okay? And you keep your arms, best way I could put it is stylish. You want to make your upper body like one unit, like it's one piece. Okay, and what you're doing is you're turning with your upper body, your arms, and everything, okay? So again, as you start your turn, you're in your surf position, get your back shoulder over your front knee, okay? And look where you want to go. Then, straighten out that front leg, get on your heels, and that'll push pressure on your tail. And as you're going through that turn, what you're going to want to do, my legs are burning now, is literally start pressing out as slow as you can throughout the turn, or hold the position if you don't have that strength. And what you'll do is you'll end up pushing your board through the turn. The last part to that is, as you want to finish out your turn, you're going to then wind up your body, pull your arms down, and what will happen is then your legs will follow, okay? So practice that on a skateboard, practice that on dry land. My legs are already burning. Weak legs, oh my gosh. I should just do that for exercise. So as I start my bottom turn, you'll see me bend my knees and keep my legs stiff. I do not want to absorb any energy. By not absorbing the energy, I'm actually propelling myself forward. Now, on this wave, this first turn, I kept my knees purposely bent to kind of show the differences. It still does work, but you'll notice that the back leg is always bent more. And that tells me that I have weight in the backs. Now, the second turn, I consciously told myself, straighten out the front leg. And I did. And as you can see, one thing I did wrong was I actually bent my front leg too soon, which put too much weight in the front. Now, third turn, same thing. I'm going to put weight on the back, straighten out my front leg. That ensures that the weight stays on the back and I'm pivoting off my tail. Okay. Another really important thing to remember is the upper body always leads and the lower part of your body follows. So, you know, arm position, that stuff's important. So just watch the videos and you'll notice that the outer arm, you're always leading, kind of almost pointing in the direction you want to turn. So this is Taj, and as you can see, his front leg's pretty straight through most of his turn, and then at some point, again, you have to break the straight leg. I believe this is Griffin. You'll notice straight leg, and right up to the point where he's about to pivot back. So it's straight, and then he's pushing with that back leg, which generates resistance and speed against the board. Pushing with that back leg, so keep that bent. Now this is Mick Fanning, and I personally think he has the best looking top wrap, so good person to look at there. And this is Jordy, same thing. So pretty much every turn that's heel side, backside, bottom turn, any top turn, cutbacks, whatever, it's gonna be, at some point you're gonna see that the front leg is straight and very stiff and the back leg is bent. And like I said, bent, the more bent, the more extension you're gonna have and space to push out that turn and make yourself go faster. Oh, and one last thing that I wanted to mention is that when you do have that front leg straight, make sure you apply pressure to the heel. I'll go ahead and pause this where you can see my toes lift up when I'm applying pressure to the heel. So as a final overview, as you work your way down the line, start your turn with your upper body, point your shoulders, make sure your arms are out, and point your shoulders and your hands, and that's kind of all one I guess unit, and point that in the direction you want to go. Get in a crouch position, but make sure that your upper body is close to the knee as possible. Now as you start turning, this is where you want to straighten out your front leg, bend that back leg, and remember, keep them stiff. One thing to add, and I think I did mention it slightly, is, and you see it with the pros, if you rewind it and watch that in slow-mo, you'll see it with the pros, apply pressure on your back foot throughout the turn. So you're basically squatting out. You're literally trying to straighten out that back leg a little at a time throughout your turn. And that helps you maintain the resistance against your fins and maintain the speed. You also want to use the top half of the wave so that way you can use gravity as part of maintaining your speed. So not only the speed that you get from your fins, but you want gravity to help. So I hope this helps. I'm no surf coach, and I'm definitely not an expert. I am a classic overthinker and overanalyzer, and I've done this pretty much my entire life. And although I would say that some of my best turns have come when I'm not thinking, what helps me is that when I get into bad ruts and go into my bad muscle memory, knowing these little tiny facts about what the fundamental techniques are helps, because I can start fixing and get out of that bad muscle memory. And then what I start doing is then I start surfing more freely and surfing better, because at that point I'm not thinking and I'm just going with the wave and my body knows what to do. So one last final thing, please like, subscribe. It does help out, and what I'm learning is it helps out the algorithms and gets this video out in front of more people, which will be very helpful to me. Appreciate you watching, and I will try to make some more videos.